And hello again, Wargaming enthusiasts. Welcome back to Combat Mission Red Thunder. This should be our last turn in this game. So let's see how it went. There's some fire between our infantry in the house over here and some people out there. Also supported by our other guys here and there. And we see some guys moving up over there. Also, our Panther is shooting up that building, which is fine. Yeah. Generally, this infantry here is something we have to weed out. It's a bit of work, mostly because just we don't have anybody who can see them. Still, just one team with SMGs in the building, and they're still doing a pretty good job. In addition, here and there you can see somebody else firing. That works out. And we're done. And it's the end. Okay, so my opponent decided to actually give up at the end there, which he didn't have to do. A ceasefire would have been enough, I think. Anyways, we've got 83 men, okay, and 38 men killed and 20 men wounded, as opposed to the Soviets who have only 27 men, okay. So we actually had a numerical advantage. We've lost 3 of our tanks and destroyed 5 of theirs, as well as 2 other armored vehicles. What were those? Does that mean, like, does this include assault guns in a separate category? I guess it does. 1 man missing, so I guess someone gave up. Alright. Let's review the map. See what's been going on. Right, so he's got a couple of infantry teams here and there. They're actually pretty well stocked, but not a huge problem. That headquarters here, that's just basically a tank team. They moved up over there. He's got someone over here. That's just a tank team, and that's just a tank team. Right, so basically a platoon of infantry that we'd have to deal with. So really, we could have handled that pretty smoothly, I think. Right. So we've got our Panther over here, which survived, the only armored unit which survived on our side. Oh, we managed to take out those guys in those buildings, yep. Anyways, so these guys survived. They took out 2 T-34s and 1 ISU 122, as well as 13 of enemy's infantry. That's a pretty good result for a Panther. I still think they're pretty derpy, and yeah, we're actually a little lucky here and there. I talked with my opponent there after the battle, basically, and he told me how the damage went with the how these ISU 122s got damaged when we were firing at them. So he said that the first one we were extremely lucky because we hit the wheels and it got immobilized. The second one we didn't hit the wheels, but I was actually looking at the fender, right? I mean, he's got a bullet hole right there. So what we hit is the driver. So again, he was immobilized and he couldn't actually turn around to fire at us. And since we were firing from an angle, there you go. So pretty lucky. Yeah, he took out one of our Panthers just before he died. And that Panther, that was really unfortunate the way it moved up to the enemy, and I don't know whether that's just my bad direction or just Panthers being derpy. But yeah, the thing was, it was aiming in the proper direction, and then just before firing, it started turning the tank, turning the hull. So this also moved the turret in the wrong direction, so he didn't even manage to fire. That said, if he fired, he probably wouldn't have destroyed the ISU 122 in one shot, but I'd have felt a little better. Yeah, as it was, this managed to kill a T-34-85 and an OT-34. Okay, so that's 76. That wasn't a normal tank. That was a flamethrower tank. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Yeah. So that guy was a flamethrower tank. Interesting. Alright, this guy killed one of our infantry, this guy killed our tiger, and this guy killed some of our infantry as well, because they were basically firing at our infantry and buildings. And this guy killed the other of our tiger. Again, and this particular duel was when this tank was fighting with the tiger. We couldn't have gotten a better shot at it. We had side armor, we were stationary, he was moving, we fired first. It's just that we were unlucky and we missed. I think, I don't remember where it went, but I think it went somewhere on the sort of front of the armor and it just sloped off, just bounced off. And yeah, he fired and didn't miss. He fired, killed us first shot. So he was lucky there. Unfortunately, our Panther got lucky when we were doing this little jousting round here, where the Panther went all the way around the building. And to be honest, at that point, I was expecting him to move back over here into the forest somewhere and just set up a defensive position. And I was trying to catch him off guard as he's moving there, which I wouldn't have done because the Panther's not quick enough. But yeah, he didn't. He did something that I wasn't expecting, and he moved in here. And our Panther actually was prepared for that because just out of caution, sorry, I set him to watch the direction where the tank was actually heading. So yeah, so that worked out pretty well for us. Yeah, but it could have gone either way with that last duel. It was just basically a fluke. Yeah, our Tigers didn't perform particularly well. Well, this one destroyed a T-34. Where's the other one? The other one destroyed an ISU-122. But we had a pretty good situation going here where we managed to turn off 4 of the enemy's tanks. And that was both lucky and, well, very effective. This left us in a position where we even had tank advantage, I mean numerical advantage at one point, with 1 Tiger and 2 Panthers fighting against a T-34-85 and an ISU-122. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to handle the ISU-122 like we should have, with both Panthers standing, but we did pretty well. The problem with the T-34-85 was that we were unlucky in that duel and our Tiger got destroyed. There you go. That sometimes happens. Right. So I actually talked to my enemy, like I said, and he told me what he was doing here with those tanks. Where we first saw the tanks appearing over here, and his plan was to basically move up a line of tanks over here, all of them, and except for that ISU-122, which was on the other wing, and he wanted to move them forward through the forest, all at the same time. And unfortunately for him, this is not the sort of forest that you can cross with tanks. So while he was trying to move over there through here, he he couldn't. So these tanks had to go around all the way up here and all the way down there, which is what we saw. And I didn't know what was going on there. I thought that was some sort of strategic withdrawal thing, but no, it was just a correction of a mistake that he did, and that meant he couldn't use all of his tanks at the same time to suppress me, and that meant we could take him on piecemeal. I don't know whether we would have been able to take him on if he went out with all 4 tanks. I mean, in the beginning we were pretty well situated to take out whatever came out through here, so he might not have been able to suppress us. We would have probably taken out some of the tanks coming through this forest. But it would have been certainly interesting. 2 Tigers against 3 T-34s and 1 ISU-122. And one of the T-34s was a 76. Yeah. So the enemy's artillery barrage was pretty scattered all around, so it didn't do very many casualties. It didn't really cause many casualties on our side. Our barrage, I think, missed. I think he predicted where we were going to shoot more or less and removed his units from there. So I guess this forest was a pretty predictable spot to put an artillery barrage on, but Yeah, it needed to be done. I don't know if he predicted this one, actually. Let's see if there's any casualties in here. Well, there's these two guys who are dead. Looks like there wasn't that much damage done here. Yeah. I guess when we moved up our infantry into these houses, this was a pretty obvious spot to do it. That's why we lost one of the MG 42s. Yeah, we managed to lose these guys by accident. Well, actually, we managed to lose the other MG 42 by accident as well. And I think one of them was hit by artillery, I think. Now I don't remember. But yeah, pretty bad. These guys didn't manage to kill anybody, but we at least we got to fire a couple of shots off. Yeah, and our platoons are generally in a little sadder state than I'd like them to, but generally still serviceable. So we've got some teams that are more or less complete, minus a couple of guys here and there. We've got this team, this second command team. We've got these guys who don't have their A team, I think. Yeah, we've got this squad who is also half a squad, and we've got these guys who are really just nothing worth discussing. So yeah, we certainly ended up with a superiority in numbers as well as tanks and things like that. The game could have been played a little smarter on my part. I think um, for instance, I think I could have set up a better firing zone with these tanks over here and just taken out the enemy, but on the whole, given that the ISU 122 seemed surprisingly tough, I should say, I didn't expect them to be so hard to knock out. We generally had to use two of our tanks to take out one of them, and we had to do a little bit of coordination. So this ISU over here was really taken out by a coordination of two Tiger tanks firing at it. One over here and one over here from those woods, right? Um, it was basically so we basically had to set traps for them and we had to coordinate, and we managed to do that, I think, pretty well. But um, here we didn't when we were fighting this ISU 122. I did my best. They are basically set up there in a pretty good position. We couldn't, well, basically I should have just let artillery take care of them. But waiting for artillery such a long time, it it's always a risk that they'd move. It's always, you know, a risk that he would start doing something else somewhere else, and maybe we wouldn't be able to handle it. Our left side was pretty weak at this time. Since our infantry got severely depleted over there. Now it looks a little bit stronger with all those mortar teams bolstering them up, but it's really not. It's still pretty weak. So if he actually moved that infantry through there, we might have been a spot of bother. So yeah, we had to get the advantage, and we had to work dynamically to achieve our goals here. It also seems a little bit unsportsmanlike to try and get a draw out of a game. So there you go. No, I think we did pretty okay with the tanks. With the infantry, I maybe should have chosen a little bit less obvious positions, but since they were in the houses, at least they didn't suffer from the artillery barrage. We really had very little casualties from that barrage. Um, so that was pretty good. I really don't know how to use the German equipment, and that's obvious. Um, for instance, Tiger tanks have a pretty slow turret traversal, which I didn't realize for a very long time. I mean, I didn't sort of feel the need to have the turrets turned in the right position at the beginning of the game. I think later on, I think I managed to learn a little bit that you have to set their firing arcs so in such a way that they have their turrets just turned in the right direction. Yeah, but at the beginning I didn't know that, so this first tank got destroyed pretty much. I mean, he didn't manage to fire off the first shot because he just traversed his turret a little too slowly. Right, I'm really curious what would have happened if he moved up all of his units at once. Thing is, though, whenever I try that with the Soviets, I end up with just a lot less units, and the Germans usually remain standing. It's not that easy to actually take out German tanks most of the time, even on these pretty short distances. And yeah, when they do fire, the Soviet units tend to lose motivation. So if you use 4 tanks at the same time, you might end up that one got destroyed and the other 3 maybe started withdrawing and then got destroyed as they tried to hectically move back. So it's kind of coordinating them is kind of hard, I think. Right, but generally a pretty standard battle, I should say. It wasn't. So there was quite a lot of me thinking about things and probably overthinking its situation and trying to move tanks very specifically into very specific points and looking for very specific angles at very specific places on the enemy side to get my tank to see something and have the enemy probably not see it at the same time, stuff like that. Which is interesting but very fiddly. And the next battle we play is going to be a slightly bigger map just because of that, just because I'm a little tired of playing these sorts of battles where we're basically set up on 2 opposing lines and we've got enough troops to secure everything and make sure everything is spotted and secured, and we just move around and reinforce our line wherever it's necessary. That makes for a bit of a static battle, and I'd like to try something a little bit different. So yeah, a slightly bigger battle might give us a little bit more opportunities to do stuff here. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I certainly enjoyed it. To be honest, I don't like playing the Germans that much, but it's certainly something. It's certainly interesting, and there's a lot of equipment that I don't know about here, that I cannot use, and I'll probably play some more battles as Germans just to learn, just to figure some of this stuff out. Also learn about radios and orders of battle and maintaining contact and stuff like that, as well as, to be honest, figuring out some of the weaknesses of the Germans. Like now I know about turret traverse, so if I can get a Tiger from the side, he's pretty much helpless if I get to, well, I get to fire off the first shot, maybe even first 2 shots if it's a T-34-85 or something like that. So yeah, these things are suddenly a little less scary now. Same for Panthers, although to be honest, I still have a lot of respect for the Panther tank, except for the fact that I really feel that there's like something very subtly wrong with how they behave. Like I think they don't see things as quickly as they should. They don't spot enemy targets as quickly as they should, and they don't start engaging like they should be. So yeah, it's kind of like I don't trust them, which is which might be a good thing for me since then I pay a little more attention to how I use them and provide backup plans and stuff like that, which is what really you should do in this game. You should stack the odds in your favor, and with Panther tanks, I tended to try and do it. Anyways, I was okay. I'm going on about whatever now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I'm going to try and do another battle. I'll try to be a little bit less long-winded in that one, and see you then. Bye.